Great. Welcome to the 29th Philadelphia Film Festival. I'm Andrew Greenblatt, the CEO and Executive Director of the Philadelphia Film Society. I am thrilled to have with me here today Seamus, co-director of our Banksy Most Wanted documentary in this year's festival. Seamus, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Welcome. Hello.
We're thrilled to do it, and I'm really excited for this Q&A because I love this film. I had so much fun
Yeah.
watching it that I watched it twice. Yeah, I'm a huge fan. I'm curious, just off the top, how did you get involved in this project?
In fact, it was Aurélia and Laurent. Laurent is the producer of the film, and they called me to do the editing of the film. And after 45 minutes, I think they already had the idea of propose to me to be the co-director. And when they asked me, I was thrilled to do it because yeah, it's a wonderful topic to talk about and to film, you know.
Absolutely. So, did you have any experience with Banksy or with the art world in general prior to coming on the film?
I worked with a director who bought me the book, one of his first book, you know, and I really liked his work. And like everybody in the world, I heard about his his works, and I have a lot of friends who are in all the graffiti movement. So I mean, it's something that I know a little bit, you know.
So there's been a few documentaries about Banksy in the
Mm.
last in recent years, taking different angles, of course. Was that how did that weigh on your decision making in terms of how to do this film, how to set up the film, what you wanted to accomplish?
Uh, it was because Aurelia had a good entry into Banksy. She wanted to talk about the fact that Banksy is anonymous, and she wanted to talk about the being anonymous in art in general. And I think this was like the good idea to make a film on Banksy. And what we tried in this film is to talk about how society is reacting to Banksy's work, and so no, it was a good, really good idea. So I jumped into the project.
Was it when you were making the film and you knew that your focus was the anonymity of Banksy,
Mm.
did you still find it difficult to not let some of the other stuff play in too much? Because you do go into the public versus private ownership nature of the work and the value of the work and street art and the commercialization, but you managed to do a really good job at keeping it on the side. But how difficult was that, knowing how interesting all of it is when it plays together?
No, it's like having ingredients, and you have to put the right ingredients in at the right place. I mean, it's all the work of doing films. You have your big topic, and then you try to talk about other thing around. And now, in fact, it was really a good idea for me because from Aurelia and Laurent, because it was like you know where you want to go, and you know where you're gonna pass around. So it's no, it's really good. And we had to do it was like it's a long film, you know, so we have to talk about, I mean, saying stuff that are really interesting. And what I think is really interesting, like I told you, is more about how people react to Banksy's art, you know.
Absolutely. So it's an investigative film to a certain
Yeah.
extent because you're searching out these theories and you've got these people that put out key theories that Banksy could be a few different people, and every one of them is incredibly convincing. So I guess this is a two-part question. The first part is, how did you find these people and do the investigative research on this? And the second part would be, which theory do you find most compelling?
In fact, I think all the three theories are, I mean, what is interesting, like you said, you're starting with one and you're sure that it's the good one. And then you try another one and you say, okay, that's another good one. So, I mean, it's a question about reality and what the news are saying to people and how people are changing ideas about things and everything. And in fact, it was Aurelia who did all the research with the different those three theories. I think there is more, and she did a really good job. And I mean, it was more about the how the news is talking about Banksy than us searching for Banksy, you know.
Right. So one area you didn't go heavily into, and I'm curious if there was a specific reason or not, is the documentary that Banksy made himself, right? Exit Through the Gift Shop, and everything about Terry, Mr. Brainwash. And there's been a lot of talk that he could be Banksy himself, or it could all be an elaborate setup by Banksy, and he's completely made up. You don't know anything. That's kind of the beauty of that film. And I think, unless I could be wrong, but I think the film is really only mentioned in the course of the Jamie Hewitt theory that he could be Banksy. Was that intentional to stay away from the film, or did it just not fit in too well?
No, the film was already did, so I mean, we're not gonna talk about. I mean, we use the Exit to the Gift Shop because it's one of the theories, like you say, about Banksy being Juliet. But no, I mean, yeah, it was one of part of the film that is interesting. It's more about the business around Banksy, how it gets, how do you present a film to the Oscar and not having any names? That's completely crazy if you
It
think
is.
about 5 minutes.
It absolutely. So, do you know, has there been any significant response to your film from the community saying, okay, clearly this theory is right? Or even, do you know if Banksy has seen the film, if there's
I don't
any
know. I don't know. I don't know if I hope so, but I really don't know. I mean, I think it's more about, I mean, we use Banksy to question about those multiple reality about how people are reacting to newspaper, I mean, to news. And I think the imagination is more powerful than reality. So, I mean, we do films, it's cinema.
So what do you think is next? What for Banksy? Where does he continue to go? Do you feel you have a better feel now that you've done this investigative documentary? You have
uh,
any
I,
idea where he goes?
I don't know, because I think we in 20 or 30 years, I think we will remember Banksy as a performer, more than a painter because I think it's more the different, like the shredding in at Sotheby's, or the months that he spent in New York. I mean, those are really incredible. It has never been done before, and I think I mean, that's what I want to see about Banksy, is how he managed to do those crazy things, and always have this political message behind it.
Absolutely. Do you think he ever reveals himself? He ever gets unmasked?
I don't know, I prefer not, but I mean, it's his own life.
It's maybe one day.
Yeah.
So what else are you working on? What's coming up for you?
I'm preparing a film about the young people around the world, and I'm working with two a co-director and two actor of theater, and they want to to adapt L'Iliade et l'Odyssée. I don't know if you know this, Homer. It's like about Ulysse, it's like a tragedy, a Greek tragedy about
Okay, yeah, yeah.
being about teenager becoming adults, and how all those kids have quite the same story around the world, and how to become an adult, and open your heart to arts and everything. It's the beginning, so it's kind of large.
Absolutely. How has the experience been for you in this crazy year? I mean, the film was supposed to premiere in Tribeca, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And it's now shown in a few places, but mostly virtually, digitally like this.
exactly.
What's that been like?
It's kind of strange because it's my first film, and I mean, I know that it's very interesting to go in different festival. You see crazy films, you meet crazy people, and I mean good people, yeah, and yeah, it's kind of sad, but I mean, like everybody, it's hard for everybody. I don't want to blame myself on myself, I'm still here, so everything is okay, and I will do other film, but no, I think it's hard for people. It's hard for people more than
But
me.
the but the word is getting out, and people are super excited about the film.
Yeah, I'm glad that people see the film. I mean, it's why we do films, it's to people, even if they don't like it. I mean, it's always interesting to how people react to 2 years or 3 years of work.
Absolutely, it's a long process. In fact, on that process, how how much footage did you have that you had to edit down to the final film? Did you leave out anything that you really loved?
Oh yeah, yeah. But it was I mean, when you working on a film on Banksy, it's so rich, how the I mean, you cross so many different people, and it talks to a lot of different people. So I mean, we could do like 3 or 4 hours of film, but you have to stay in the. I mean, you do film for people, not for you. So you try to have a message, and what you're saying in the film has to be not boring. So sometimes you have to be hard on yourself, even if it's good. You don't put it in the film because it doesn't go into it.
Is there any great moment or great scene that you really wish you had gotten in and that it just couldn't work?
Not really. It was more like a feeling on how we direct a sequence, and that we couldn't put into the movie. It's more, I mean, it's always like in New York. I think there was this story about when Banksy went to Harlem or the Bronx, and he leaves a rat in the street, and the guys from there, they never see any tourists, except this time when they all wanted to take a picture of the rat, and they put something to hide it, and they ask money for people to let them do the picture. I mean, this story for me was amazing, but we didn't it didn't fit into the film, so that's perhaps we'll do another one.
That's right. Well, listen, I would love to see a 3 or 4 hour version of this. I think this film is so much fun to watch, and the investigations are so thorough and so convincing. And as you move from one to the next to the next, every time my mind is being changed. I'm like, well, that makes so much sense. No, that clearly is the right one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's great.
No, I mean,
Congratulations.
I think one of the good things about documentaries is, and also fiction, and how people watching the film changing their mind when they are watching it. And this is, if you have this in your film, it's gold.
Oh, absolutely. And I think you can change your mind multiple times. I know I was on Google right after the film researching
Yeah,
everything. I'm like, that's so clear. But then that one, yeah, it's fantastic.
that's
Uh,
good.
well, congratulations and thank you again for joining us for this Q&A. This has been
No
fantastic.
problem. Pleasure.
Hopefully we can welcome you to Philadelphia properly one day soon.
Nice, nice. Next time, next
And
year.
next time, excellent. And take care.